and see relate to the how we can use this kind of automation and robotic for building construction. Of course, in the past, actually, we have been successfully a group of at least 3 research team has successfully make a very good prototype about this kind of automation, robotic, and turn into a sub company. So that again, I tell you, this is a part of this part. We try to give you some information about this kind of the importance of this kind of automation and robotics. Definitely, you will create a huge impact for the industry, right, Vincent? So that at this moment, many of this kind of construction industry is still what? How this kind of industry in Hong Kong to the building construction? Still they have many construction workers, and so that very time consuming and dangerous, Vincent. So that if we are able to use this kind of robotics system to do construction automation, for sure, you will really save a lot of time and effort and reduce this kind of cost. So that is, I would say, that is a quite important thing for this kind of construction industry. Of course, actually, there's additional issue for construction industry in Hong Kong. So I don't know if you aware about what's the problem of the construction industry in Hong Kong. All of you don't want to work as construction worker, So that then a typical age of a construction worker in Hong Kong is do you know the typical age? 40 to 50, around at least 50. And of course, there's another big problem is policy, so that the Hong Kong government also doesn't allow those kind of the worker in mainland China to work in Hong Kong for construction industry. So this is actually a real big problem for Hong Kong industry. So that's why we are able to write a proposal, and together with our professor Zhang Li, the person together, so we can receive this kind of $300 million Hong Kong dollar from Hong Kong government to think about how to help our Hong Kong local Hong Kong industry. So at this moment, I would say is a quite important thing. Of course, let me show you for all these kind of robotics, it all become quite important, right? So that here recently, this Xiaomi used to only make a smartphone. It's a surprise. They spent three years, and they try to develop the kind of smart manufacturing plant, super factory, so that and this factory, how fast they can do the building, conquer the car, assembly the car. One SU7 car of Xiaomi, they can do assembly in 6 seconds. Can you believe? This is quite amazing to see this kind of automation robotic. This one requires how many robots in this factory? 700 robots. It's quite amazing. Let me here. Let me show you. It's still quite amazing to see. very interesting idea so that the automation and robotics now can really make a big difference for this industry. So there's no doubt at all. So that I just told you this is personally I also surprised to see that they can reach this kind of level. I think that only 3 years. They really finish R&D of this kind of their first car, and then do the mass production, and then so this and the performance of this car, I can see it can beat the Tesla. That's why the Tesla, this Model 3, and Tesla may have big trouble. If you look at the stock price of Tesla, I can see in terms of performance price ratio, this Xiaomi S7 can really beat the Elon Musk Tesla Model 3. This is I would say they always demonstrate it's not just a low-end car. You can see this car, electric car built by Xiaomi, so that they speed if you reach 100 kilometers per hour, only 2.78 seconds. Compete with those the Porsche, the one of more than $1 million Chinese yuan's car, electric car. So I would say these Xiaomi's this kind of car actually probably will have a big impact in mainland China and globally. So I can see that sounds amazing to see this CEO of Mr. Lei Jun can really push his team to work on this kind of advanced smart manufacturing, right? And this kind of amazing kind of electric car, okay? And of course, this electric car actually has AI enabled. They also have their own large language model enabled. They have more than 20 sensors, right? Microsensor into the AI, then they really has amazing this kind of behavior for this kind of a series of this kind of amazing things. So let me show you. Actually, I add this one in our this slide to show you. Okay, so that this is quite amazing. I think still important for me to highlight. So this electric car built by Xiaomi, it should make a smartphone. No, they have 27 microsensors. And also with what? With AI enabled. We always show you ChatGPT, GPT-4. Actually, they use this kind of multimodal AI in this car. Can you believe? That means basically this car really get all the sensor data. More than 27 sensor data, right? You have at least that's quite amazing. And then with all the long list of simple image sensor with ultrasonics, it kind of radar, millimeter wave radar, and LiDAR, the main LiDAR, and of course super fast kind of GPU based at calculation. You can see this NVIDIA make the chip so that they really have amazing kind of thing, right? So that how using this kind of multi-sensor, micro sensor with AI, with large language model, they really achieve this kind of amazing thing. This is quite amazing. And then if you drive this car to the tunnel and then ask, using voice to ask this car, and then they can tell you exactly how long the tunnel and things. Right? Pass a river, ask what kind of river, and they can tell you about everything. This is quite crazy, I would say. We are in this kind of multimodal AI, like GPT-4, with all the sensor will change a big impact in every industry. Smart building, smart car, smart this kind of phone and everything. So I just say this is very amazing to see this kind of integration of microsensor with AI will have huge impact. Of course, I believe all the robot, 700 robot, to build this kind of Xiaomi car is also amazing. They have using all the automation, not using human. So this also have big impact for everybody. Right? In the near future, we have a 1 million, 10 million of robot to do the work. And how about human? If you don't have no skill, no knowledge, then what kind of job are you going to do? So that is a quite I would say quite big problem. And of course, I do give you some additional data in recent one news, right, from Sequoia. Sequoia Capital is one of important kind of venture capital in Silicon Valley. So also in China, so that they all invest those kind of unicorn. Right? Sequoia also have mentioned about the future of company. Right? What happened in the near future? Probably we may have a company with high many AI worker, and that work together, so that is I would say similar to the kind of NVIDIA CEO and founder Jensen Huang. So I think every pixel will be generated, okay, and in near future, and every company is now hire human or hire this kind of super intelligent this kind of AI worker. So I would say this is quite amazing to see. Like in the near future, I would say that is create some big trouble for. I would say they will try to impact the whole industry, especially in the company. How the company will operate. I'm pretty sure they will have huge impact. Okay, so that anyway, if it's a chance, try to look at this article. But at least I would say it's quite amazing. So that if Sequoia write this article, definitely he understand. In the future, he will not invest some how the investment about this kind of the company. You say so that's something I would say is all of you may want to take a look about this kind of Sequoia Capitals is look about the future. Okay, so this is something. Of course, I also try to show you. Last time I showed you that this kind of AI tutor, personal AI tutor. So I was able to using open source AI tutor to let you. Of course, this is from cozy.com. It's TikTok. The company make oversee this kind of thing. They have a GPT-4. So that before, remember last time I showed you, unfortunately, if I'm using the OpenAI, I have VPN. Now with this one, at least no VPN is free. So that if you want to learn, for example, like our this kind of thing, right? UG, this kind of introduction to our course, right? Do you think the modern building engineering? UG, this kind of a general education course. Okay, so that then. So remember, this one, they have a series of plugins, not only using this kind of multimodal AI or GPT-4. And then,
all right, let's dive into shaping the curriculum for Introduction to Modern Building Engineering for an undergraduate general education course. Prerequisite 0.1 Fundamentals of Mathematics and Physics. Understanding the basics of mathematics and physics that are essential for engineering, such as algebra, geometry, calculus, force, energy, and thermodynamics. 0.2 Introduction to Engineering Principles. Building a foundation hub about engineering principles, including energy conservation, material properties, and force interactions. 0.3 Basics of Architectural Design. Getting to know the principles of architectural design, from original concept to planning and on to realization in the built environment. 0.4 Introduction to Materials. Knowledge about different types of materials used in modern building engineering, like concrete, steel, wood, etc., and their properties. 0.5 Environment and Sustainability. An insight into how environmental factors and sustainability should be considered when planning and constructing buildings. 0.6 Safety Standards and Regulations. Familiarizing with the safety standards and regulations in the building industry. 0.7 Fundamentals of Computer-Aided Design.
Anyway,
Understanding the utilization of software for creating 2D and 3D representations of physical objects. Main curriculum.
okay. Anyway, so I just tell you that this kind of a personal AI tutor is even much better than the one proposed on the ChatGPT that website now, because I have enabled a series of plugins. They can search Google Scholar, GPT-4 Vision. They can see, you can upload something that image and text, and then also you can do some data analysis, code interpreter, and try to get those kind of that open source, this kind of code, right? For the Python code thing. So this is I think even much better than the original this kind of Randy AI tutor on that the ChatGPT website. So I highly recommend you may want to do it for not only for this course, for any new course you want to learn. So that you can try to hear and then start maybe 1.1, right? As I told you, so that then they give you this thing, of course, because they have a DALL-E. Oh, I forgot to enable. I mean, I enable that DALL-E can text to image. They can draw something, right? If you text only some drawing, if you want to draw maybe some building, something construction or something, then I should enable that text to image, the DALL-E, this kind of model, right? A model, so that this is something I would say is should be very good for personalized education. Yeah, as again, one of the good things here is this is free, completely free. You are welcome to give a try. Free, it's free, and you can learn anything. You are welcome to try this personalized AI tutor using GPT-4 for free. I created, okay. Try to learn anything, okay? So that is something AI changed the education completely, okay? And then of course, one you can continue. I just show you there's several important things. You just key thing, right? Continue. Of course, I set the default this AI tutor to be they can level from primary school to the UG, PhD, master. So that I set this default to be undergrad, the level optimized for you. Anyway, so it's that means you can also think about how to leverage this kind of plug-in. That means they can really try to give you a lot more. This kind of most update information from the internet, Google search and image, and maybe also enable some YouTube, something so that I would say, and also coding. So this is I would say this is quite amazing. We have really this AI have a huge impact for learning. I do think you're welcome to try this one for free. Yeah, of course. If open source, you can change this AI tutor for your own personal interest. Actually, there's a room, right? Once open source, you can change this kind of coding according to your own this kind of specific requirement. And also another good thing is you can also try to what? The different kind of way to do things. I emphasize, I didn't say. I also emphasize why this is so I think huge impact. It's because they really this one has a lot more interesting this kind of AI function for you to think. I emphasize, you see. So basically, you set this kind of any kind of language, probably 90 language, English, Chinese, French, Russian, and high school UG master, PhD, postdoctor, learning style, and communication style, formal textbook, and more. And then actually written framework. So it's quite amazing to see that they can really have such kind of personalized way now for you to now learn any subject. And I believe this kind of AI chatbot is even better than the one from original author. Original author of this AI tutor is high school student. Okay, so that if high school can use AI to learn anything, if you use AI to learn some knowledge skill, probably you're left behind. Those super intelligent high school students can beat you to a lot more. Again, this is a high school student make this kind of reindeer AI tutor. Okay, it's not even PhD student, it's high school. So anyway, try to think about to use one for your own learning. I do believe this is something which should be quite useful. Yeah, for you to learn anything. Do you have any question? Any question about this one? Of course, some student, if you're not from school engineering, school science, or business, or whatever, now your background, your things, so that it definitely you can really try to use for learning anything. So that something I do think is a very interesting way for. Of course, if you want to know more about learning this particular subject, of course, you can also customize. Right? Okay, AI will change everything. Then you want to learn some AI stuff. Actually, they can also give you this thing. So that for example, you can maybe let me try. So if you want to learn some AI and then prompt engineering, and I told you why prompt engineering can make a big money. So that as this thing, or how can I plan maybe prompt engineering? I want to learn prompt engineering. To program GPT-4, Cloud 3, or this kind of large language model, right? Cloud 3, all this kind of large language model. Oh, multimodal. Actually, it's nothing. Large LLM, right? It's multimodal. That's something is I would say quite important thing to program. Multimodal. Okay, so tell him is that give him more precise information so that he can really give you personalized this kind of education, personalized tutor. They tell him what's your background. If you think you maybe your level is in high school, and say, oh, I'm a high school student. Please give me this kind of personalized this kind of program for me to learn about this kind of AI. Anyway, I would say this is we are in this kind of a very unique industrial revolution. Again, this is real industrial revolution compared with like 100 years ago. That time we have industrial revolution, we have the kind of steam engine, and then so that at that time China left behind, and then this is so the same thing, right? That's why the government of Hong Kong and the government in China, they actually put a lot of money so that definitely Cozy, right? The mother company of TikTok, I think they really put a lot of money, billions of dollars, to develop the kind of AI platform for every kind of thing. So this is something quite important for all of you to think about this kind of how to leverage AI for you. Of course, you can also use AI for what? Business, right? Business, marketing, intelligent market research. Provide a proposal to get money from the government, VC company, write a proposal, business plan to get money from the government. Write a proposal using AI for you to receive money from VC or from the government. Okay, so that's something I would say is quite interesting for all of you to get this kind of personalized AI tutor for you to learn anything. You see that
They really try to use all the plug-in, right? Data analysis, Google search, code interpreter, and GPT-4 vision, right? So things. So this is a super advanced now personal AI tutor. It's not a low level. Okay. Anyway, so do you any question? I do think this is something quite important for me to share with you this kind of thing. Of course, I do spend some time to the prompt engineering. In the past more than one year, actually, I spent a lot of time to improve my coding ability. Although I have 30 years coding experience, for high school, I am able to write the computer code to calculate how to calculate this kind of pi 3.14, and actually I have a more than 30-year coding experience, so that definitely this is a different level of coding. Okay, not a traditional like C, C++, Java, but a high level of code. But you have to understand about how this kind of LLM works, right? Large language model work and have some basic things, so you can really try to program this kind of a super intelligent, this kind of thing who have unlimited knowledge compared with human being. Human cannot compete with the kind of GPT-4, GPT-5 in the future. So this is something I do think is quite important for all of you to give a try. Okay, and do any question? Any question about this kind of free? Okay, it's free. Personal AI tutor. Try to give a try to see if you can really try to, for example, then you can test, right? If you learn something, then try to this is also quite important, right? You learn and then you answer the question, right? Then you're able to make progress, right? You try learning and listen to the lecture without any thinking and do the homework or to answer that question, the test, and then you cannot learn this. So that is something quite important thing. Yeah. Again, do you have any question about this kind of AI tutor? I do think it's something useful. Okay. Okay, so probably I think that's it. This is from my point of view, it's even for me, it's a good for it's a tool, very good tools. Okay. Of course, I do create a series of AI chatbot to work for me. This is that. You can really make your own AI chatbot to do things, right? I mean, you can hire 3 AI workers to do a lot of things, be more efficient. As I mentioned in the beginning, why? So that this particular lecture is how to enable engineer to have at least 100 times efficiency, working efficiency. 100% understand this kind of power of this AI now to really increase this kind of working efficiency as engineer. So this is something there's no doubt at all. So that again, from marketing, I mean, that's why of course we can also generate a lot more money, right? If you look at this kind of investment companies report, how much money due to this kind of new AI, how much money you can generate? What do you think? This report will show you exactly. I forgot it's about $1 trillion potential US dollar generates some kind of profit, the money. Is that once you have increased productivity, not only 10%, 10 times, 100 times, how much money you can generate because of increased productivity. So that I think let's look at this kind of business investment report. I didn't put down exact. I remember it's $1 trillion. Potentially, this kind of AI would generate $1 trillion US dollars kind of the money. The value doing that when you have all the kind of technology and product, so generate kind of value for the society. Then so this is not incremental. It can generate $1 trillion, but please try to at least I would say $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Now this kind of the value doing that $1 trillion US dollar. Okay, so this is not small thing. Okay. Okay, any question? I think probably that's it for this particular lecture, but I do think it's worthwhile for me to give you some this kind of information. If it do any question, that's another thing. I ask you, why you have to change your mindset. If you don't ask good question to any course, no good question, have good ability to ask question for AI, then you are left behind. Okay, so that if at this moment still none of you want to ask question, that means that you didn't change your mindset. You have to be more active to think about how to ask question. Prompt engineering is one of the most important skill. If you don't ask question, that means that you are left behind. And compared with those people, even you can see that high school student, Reindeer, as a high school student, they ask a good question to AI, and then I'm pretty sure his open source AI can make money. I think he can receive a lot of this kind of VC funding. Okay, this thing, that high school student can do much better. Ask a good question to AI, they can make the money now. And remember, open source, this kind of AI tutor is I'm pretty sure they can generate real business for this kind of personal AI tutor, 100%. If you think about this one, take opportunity, then that is something quite interesting for all of you to think about. Okay, I think if not, then I think we have to go to the next topic now. So the next topic is something also quite important issue. Okay, so that we are facing this kind of globally, we're facing big trouble. So that this part is not small problem, it's a big problem. So that in the near future, the water, I would say, is still one of a very precious this kind of thing now. Especially in China, the fresh water is not sufficient. So that with global climate change, I would say we're facing very big trouble in the near future. Probably it's important for all of you to think about why global climate change may have big impact in terms of energy and fresh water. Okay, so this thing is a quite important thing. Although, right, here we surrounded by seawater, but can you drink the seawater? So that's problem, you say. So that some country and region, they don't have enough fresh water, and then what? Then Saudi Arabia, Singapore, they do what? Build this kind of desalination plant, right? Reverse osmosis, right? And then try to change seawater into the fresh water. But of course, it costs a lot of money and energy, do you say? And so again, some country, if they have really lack of fresh water, then they have to spend much more money, right, to see. Again, water is abundant in the earth, but unfortunately, the problem is no, we don't have enough fresh water, right? But of course, another problem is what? We have human population can increase exponentially, so that if the finite this kind of the fresh water has some limitation and limited quota, and then so this is I think one of a big issue. Okay, although you see we have abundant of this kind of water, right? And but many of this water in the seawater, and then it's cannot be used for human, right? To say that's a problem. Okay, yeah. And also we have another problem is what? Pollution. While human generates so much pollution, so that some manufacturing plant generate this pollution for the river and water, and then so this is also quite a big issue. Yeah, and of course, typically we have this kind of water cycle, right? Water cycle, that means okay, in the summer day we have an evaporation, right? Seawater or those fresh water in the river evaporate and then go to the air, and then if you have too much condensation, right? Condensation, and then you can some rainfall. Sometimes it depends on the weather condition. It becomes snow and even other kind of form of this kind of water thing. So this is something. And then of course, once you have this kind of rainfall, and then you can have turn into this kind of either one side go to groundwater and else go to the river and then go to the ocean. So this is a typical water cycle, right? So that of course the big issue now is let me see. Let me see. We have this video to show you. In particular, one of very big trouble is the hailstone. It's one special form of water form, but it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. That means if you don't carefully think, and then you can really create big trouble to the building, the human. So that the hailstone is quite dangerous. Let me show you that the video. Okay. Anyway, so I would say this is unfortunately we are still see this kind of the hailstone once a while. Let me try to.
This is Dwayne Friend with University of Illinois Extension.
So this one, again, I would say it's one of a very simple, easy way to visualize this kind of hail formation.
This is Dwayne Friend with University of Illinois Extension. Thunderstorms have several potential hazards, including wind, lightning, heavy rain, tornadoes, and hail. Hail is formed through two processes which create layers within the hailstone. Strong updrafts, which are rising streams of air in some thunderstorms, pushes rain and ice pellets high into a thunderstorm, keeping them suspended within the storm. In this area, both ice pellets and water droplets are found. Temperatures in this area are below freezing, but due to atmospheric conditions, water droplets can remain in liquid form. However, once an ice pellet comes into contact with a water droplet, the water begins to freeze. If the water freezes slowly, it creates a layer of clear ice. If freezing occurs quickly, the ice is cloudy due to a lot of air bubbles being trapped in the ice. If you examine a hailstone, you may be able to see layers of clear and cloudy ice. The hailstone may fall out of the updraft, but then get pulled back in and carried up again. This may happen several times, making the hailstone grow larger each time. The longer a strong updraft is present, the bigger the hailstone may become. Eventually, the hailstone becomes too large to suspend in the air, or the updraft weakens, allowing the hailstones to fall to earth. Small hail does not take strong updrafts to be formed. For example, pea-sized hail can form with updrafts of only 24 miles per hour. Very large hailstones require much stronger winds. Softball-size hail would need an updraft of 103 miles per hour.
Okay, so what do you think? Basically, this is relate to what we mentioned in previous lecture. Remember, we look at this kind of heat transfer for the building, so that so we have water, right? Liquid water can turn into vapor, right? Or liquid water can go into become freeze into the ice. So that this is one very special kind of a heat transfer. If you try to compare with our previous lecture, so that what I say, so it's a one, but it's a one special type of a heat this kind of heat transfer with a phase change, right? Phase change. That means those kind of water vapor in the air, water air, they will what? They will gradually turn into solid form, right? But the issue is very complicated. This kind of feedback, so that the wind continue to let this kind of ice to cycle and gradually become bigger. So this is a very complicated, I would say, heat transformation, but with additional this kind of wind
to has a positive feedback to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. This is, I would say, it's compared with traditional one we mentioned in our previous lecture. It's I would say it's a much more complicated thing, right? That means water vapor, huh? You see, in the air, water vapor in the air will what? We're going to become the solid form, right? The ice, but it's much more complicated phenomena. You see, much more complicated. Okay, so this is something water vapor, and then and try to change into the what? Ice. But it's not that simple. Ice will continue to because the wind. They said the wind thing, and we try to do this kind of circulation, and then gain more this kind of water vapor to become bigger and bigger, so that until maybe too big now, the wind cannot bring this kind of very big kind of hail and then falling down. So it's I think very complicated formation, right? Heat transfer formation compared with what we mentioned, like this kind of phase change in maybe you're in the kitchen, right? In the kitchen you have a freezer, right? Freezer, you turn the liquid into ice, but this is a much more complicated thing. From water vapor into the ice, and then with additional this kind of positive feedback, yeah, into bigger, they can hail. Okay. Anyway, so it's very interesting, and but you can create a big trouble, You can damage the building, and damage the car, and even cause some injury. If the big hail, hit your human, and then what happened? Maybe you die. From very high, based on the maybe high school physics, you calculate how much this kind of force, right? So that this can be very dangerous. Okay, so this is it's not compared with rainfall. They can be very big trouble. You see, hailstone damage even in US, 1 year is $1 billion cause some problem, especially if those hail is like 1 inch or 2.5 centimeter, and then you could create big trouble. Okay, and of course, what's a typical thing, right? Let's say typical the kind of large, the kind of very big, the kind of hailstone occur in supercell thunderstorm. Okay, and then so again, so this is something unfortunately, you see, even in US, 75% of US city will have this kind of hailstone every year, right? And that is a big trouble. But here, give you some typical number, right? So, for example, you see, 45,000 of the thunderstorm happen every day, globally, and then about 60 million per year. Of course, every year in US have about 2,000 to 3,000 this kind of special type of thunderstorm, right? And then this can create some damage, and it's not small a problem. Yeah. And of course, here I show you what's typical. It really depends on the region. It's not everywhere. Most likely, I would say, you see, in this kind of middle, or middle west region. So this it depends on the region, depends on that weather condition. Yeah. And in China, actually, also, you see, it's not. We are lucky here. We are not very serious, right? Near this kind of ocean, so that most likely, you see, is in the this kind of central part or west part of this China. So that this is something I would say globally is still a big problem. Okay, yeah. I think once in a while you see from news there's a this kind of hailstorm and create some damage. Okay, and of course now we try to look at this issue. I think that means typically water is one of the most important for all life, right? In the biology, right? From single cell, this kind of to the animal, fish, and the bacteria, anything, and human, all animal, we all need this kind of water, right? So that of course the question is, you see,
everybody we need water, right? Drinking water, and then of course the problem, as I told you why. So we have a global weather problem, and we have a pollution problem, right? And plus our human population is continue to grow exponentially, so that that's something you can imagine, so that we are going to have some trouble, right? So that if human population grow here, and then our this kind of fresh water is like probably remain for Earth, right, remain constant. So when time goes to a certain period of time, so that probably this is something we have face some problem for sure. This is a fresh water. No, it's fresh water. No, I would say it has a certain some limit, right? It's limited, is right on the Earth. It's not unlimited supply, and plus we have a pollution problem. Why? We have water pollution. This is also create some damage. Why? That means we have limited amount of fresh water, and also human we try to damage a lot more. This kind of water pollution. So this is a not small problem. And of course, I do have some ongoing project. Work with our former Vice President, Professor Joseph Lee. He is moved to become the president in MECH1905 Science and Technology, with ongoing project about this kind of how using advanced microsensor, or this microfluidic for water pollution market for Hong Kong seawater. Ongoing, because I think here the government knows that is also quite important to solve problems, so that this is something I would say even the government have to also spend money on this part. Okay. And of course, water, another quite important thing, right? So that when everybody, you know that now we had to try to do this kind of water hygiene, and then so that to wash by cleaning and in the kitchen and toilet, and also yourself. So this is something, and of course this is something quite important to minimize the kind of when you do this thing, and then that is a quite important thing. And again, one of the big problem is we have limited, although we have so much seawater, you see. And if you look at the picture of Earth, right? So that we have a super big amount of water, and unfortunately, this seawater is not fresh water, right? So that then how can we survive? How can we survive with this kind of limited fresh water? Is still a big problem, okay, for many people in the world. This is some developed country like in Africa, or maybe Cambodia, in Southeast Asian country, many people cannot have enough fresh water. Several years ago, I went to Cambodia, the capital of Cambodia. We bring several students from USD. We try to see their condition. So it's really bad. So that if you don't have fresh water, what happens? Not die. So that for those little kids in Cambodia, in those long-term capitals, so that they drink contaminated water, and what happens? Get sick, and some of those contaminated water can cause some problem in stomach, and some of this one cause some bacteria, and it's saying to what? Cancer, and many other diseases. At least actually, I bring several students to the Cambodia, and then let our students to understand. Here in Hong Kong, you don't worry, but many other countries in the world suffer a lot. Little kids, they have no choice, only can drink those dirty water. At least here, you don't worry, right? As I told you that you need to understand, at least Hong Kong, the government, and here we provide you enough good kind of infrastructure so that again, not globally, not everybody, and not everybody. I tell you, at least when I went to Cambodia, at least twice, so that let our students and us to witness about those very poor. There's a little kid, right? They really have the homeless, right, in slum, and then they have to drink those kind of dirty water, and many this kind of kid got some disease. Okay, so it's unfortunately this is something you should try to think. You are lucky you are stay here in Hong Kong. If you are born in Cambodia, then what happened? You may be not healthy and then get some cancer, stomach cancer or something. I would say, unfortunately, yeah. Okay, and then this is something, just give you the example. And you see, this is the problem. Why? We have so much water in the earth, 97%. But among them, you see, we have a very, very small percent, 3% fresh water. But among 3%, many of them actually is in this kind of in the form of the ice cap glacier, in the North Pole and South Pole, and only groundwater is 30% and other 0.9% on surface water, so that we only most likely we can use this type of thing. Why? Probably difficult to use this guy, and then so that we only use about very, very small percentage of the surface water here, right here, right? Among them, lake it's 87%, swamp 11, river 2%. So it's something. That's why I think the government, Hong Kong government and government in China, I think they spend a lot of money to look at the water engineering to protect this kind of water and minimize this kind of pollution from the manufacturing plant. So it's I think one of a very big project, ongoing project, even now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So again, so here another. I think I will also mention why. So that's another stormwater. In our previous lecture, we show you stormwater. That means you have a building, and then you have this kind of rainfall, and what happens? Then they can cause some contamination, erosion, right? About this kind of foundation of a building and cause some pollution. So that we actually previous lecture we do mention about this kind of stormwater runoff and really create some trouble, and then also can see create some problem. The oil condensation, and for this thing, this is something. This is another issue. Of course, in our previous lecture, how can we minimize the problem? This must have some solution. For example, if you can have collection of this kind of rain, the water from the building here, and then some filtration, so minimize the kind of contamination, right? So that's also quite useful way, right? So anyway, so they must have some ways, and then in previous lecture I do show you several slides about this one. Okay, and again, typically once you have the stormwater, and then you will cause some condensation, right? And sometimes you would do this kind of erosion of this kind of foundation near this kind of building. Anyway, so this will give you as one additional this kind of example, so that this kind of stormwater can cause some contamination, and also you can see, and of course, in this case, you can also have impact on sedimentation. So too much stormwater, and then it bring a lot of this kind of some dirty stuff, and then after a long time, and then sedimentation means we're going to have clogging, right? So like clogging about this kind of a river or something, or this kind of thing. So this can be some big trouble for irrigation and those kind of transport of the this kind of water transportation. So this is something once a while. I think the government may need to do some clean up about this kind of sedimentation issue. And of course, you can see we also have this kind of pollution, right? So that is it's not small problem. Okay, and again, so that I believe the government have been working on this kind of water engineering, right, to make sure we have a minimize this kind of pollution. Okay, and of course, there's another issue about this kind of thing, right? As I mentioned, we have a large percentage of this 68% of fresh water is underground water. And okay, first is can we use this water? Huh? Of course, it should be possible, but of course, to use underground this water, then of course it will be require a lot more effort. That means you have to drill a well, right? And then you need to use a pump so that I think compared with those water drill a well, and then you have the pump to pump this kind of water from this underground. So that for sure it's possible, but it will cost in terms of cost, right? It would be more expensive. Yeah. But on the other hand, I do believe this seawater is this underground water is quite important. Why in case in some region, some country they don't have enough river and lake, then most likely underground water is quite important. And of course, there's another problem. So we create a lot more pollution. Every day you wash your hand using soap, right? And then in this laundry, while you put a lot of detergent, right? And then all this kind of detergent and thing, and then once you let this wastewater to go out, and then so eventually go to the river and all this kind of ocean. So that one of the problem is this kind of contamination can cause some trouble. Okay, so what kind of trouble? Because some of this kind of contamination will create some big trouble and then consume a lot more. The kind of and this is one of a concept of this they call eutrophication. Okay, I think there's one video. I think I have a video. Let me show here. Eutrophication. This is one of quite
Plants require several things to grow. Most of us know that they need things like water, sunlight, and CO2, but plants also need a variety of nutrients as well, things like nitrogen and phosphorus. Usually, plants will get all their required nutrients from the soil through their roots, but when the soil is bad or there's been a lot of erosion or leaching, farmers or even just people trying to make their lawns green will put down something called fertilizer. What makes fertilizer so fertile is that it's been enriched with these nutrients that the plants need, again mostly fixed nitrogen and phosphorus. But plants aren't the best at soaking up every last nutrient in the soil, and it's also hard to gauge just how much fertilizer.
Sorry.
much fertilizer a field needs, as soil quality can vary drastically over short distances. To be safe, farmers will usually apply excess fertilizer to a given plot of land. Better safe than sorry, you know? But instead of staying in the soil for years, most of the excess nutrients will be carried away by the rain or other forms of irrigation. These nutrients mix with the water and find their way into bodies of water like ponds, lakes, reservoirs, and even the ocean sometimes. With all these nutrients added, the algae, phytoplankton, and even plants in the water do the same thing the crops in the field do. They grow. Well, actually, they explode in numbers. This is called an algal bloom, and entire lakes can become covered in layers of plant growth like this. To some, this might seem like a good thing. Plants are good for the environment, right? Well, not always. First off, this floating layer of algae forms basically an impenetrable roof on the water, not allowing sunlight through to the bottom of the lake. Without the presence of sunlight, all plants below the surface cannot partake in photosynthesis. You know, metabolize, make glucose, live, that sort of stuff. But not even this is the bad part of it all. Many plants can store enough energy in their bodies to wait out these conditions. The real problem comes when all the nutrients are used up and the water can no longer support so much life. When this happens, the excess algae, phytoplankton, and plants die off and sink to the bottom of the body of water. Here, bacteria and other decomposers feast on the dead bodies in a chemical process of decay which consumes oxygen. Now, in a usual ecosystem, the amount of dead matter is relatively constant, so oxygen levels stay relatively constant as well. But when a bloom occurs, far more organic matter is ready to decompose, and so nearly all the oxygen in the water is used in the process of decomposition, and none is left for the animals living in the water. Without this, animals that use the dissolved oxygen to breathe, so things like fish, can actually suffocate. This causes even more death, leading to more decomposition and more oxygen usage. Basically, at this point, a positive feedback loop has been created. It can take a body of water a very long time to recover, though each one is different, and recovery depends on a lot of things, like how many nutrients leaked into the water, how big the body of water is, what organisms are present there, and so on. When this happens in lakes, native species can be suppressed and allow invasives to come in while the environment is still disturbed. If this happens in the ocean, the lack of oxygen can cause corals to bleach and possibly even die. All around, this can greatly damage many ecosystems and leads to a decrease in biodiversity globally. Nutrient-rich runoff can also be caused by things like clear cutting, which releases the nutrients which were kept in the soil by the plants, or also by things like animal farms, where nutrient-rich waste materials can leak into local bodies of water. And that's eutrophication, simply put. I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe think twice before using fertilizer or clearing a forest. If you want more people to see this video, give it a like, and if you...
Okay, so this is one of quite important problem. And in Hong Kong, we still one while see the kind of the harmful algal bloom. So in this particular one, and so that the government do spend time to think about here. So of course, I do have ongoing project. I think how you use multiple way, right? You try to traditional the way how to monitor about this kind of algal bloom. And this is how. Those the government official in that special department in Hong Kong government, they try to do the sampling in different locations in Hong Kong, seawater, and then go to the lab, Hong Kong government lab, and then try to look under microscope to see if there's some typically about 10 to 20 of some special algae which can create the kind of the problem. So this is I think still one of a big problem. I think it is it's about 10 to 20 types of algae, which can really create the kind of harmful algal bloom. Okay, so that and traditionally the government, Hong Kong government will send the people to do the sampling in different parts, maybe in cycle, or maybe in TKO, those are seawater, and then go to the lab to test it, so that and then of course this is cost a lot of manpower and money. So that is any way can we think about? I tell you, how can using microsensor or with wider communication or some microfluidic, we try to
now put this kind of very small miniature, this module, near maybe in cycle or maybe our USD, those, now the place ocean to do this real-time monitoring, of course, with wireless communication, right? IoT, this kind of sensor, microfluidic, to things, so that at least I told you, I have ongoing project with a person, Joseph Lee. So actually next Monday, I will go with our President Joseph Lee to the Hong Kong government thing. So our two TA will give the lecture next Monday. So that again, I told you, I do have ongoing project, and then we need to go to with the Hong Kong government official on this particular thing. Of course, with all this kind of data, you see, if we collect all this kind of data, right? Sample those kind of now the LG and then take the picture and then all the sensing data, then how we use this kind of data to train AI to see, right? If you're able to do the kind of to measure large 10, 20 type of this LG or this data using different kind of sensor with all this kind of the kind of flow cytometry, actually Professor Sleep bought the $1 million, very expensive kind of they call the portable of flow cytometry, and then go to the seawater to do it. But that's why can we make a low cost the kind of a microfluidic with sensor to pay $1 million. See, so I thought we have ongoing projects so that so that this is quite important, at least for Hong Kong. Okay, so that anyway, so we have, so next Monday, so both TA will give the talk related to specific topic. One of my PhD student will describe about his research about MEMS or CMOS MEMS LiDAR, micromirror for LiDAR or this kind of thing, right? So that I'll show you Xiaomi, this kind of all this kind of electric cars, self-driving car. We have a lot more sensors. So in particular, one of this is LiDAR, right? So that at least one of my PhD students who have been working on micro machine mirror for potential for this kind of LiDAR, like what I show you in previous lecture. I think for the Xiaomi the car, so that part is at least show you. So of course there's all kinds of sensor. Micro sensor has a good application in smart home, smart building, even the kind of water monitoring. So I just tell you, this is here I show you. In the new this car, every car probably in the near future will have 20, 30, or 100 or even more. So that I do believe this is something quite interesting for all you. You see, so this LiDAR will be quite important. Right? For thing, of course, LiDAR usually in all the LiDAR is what? LiDAR, all LiDAR, for example, using Google. Self-driving car using very large, very expensive motor to this thing. But how you make a small, this kind of micro machine, this kind of MEMS or CMOS MEMS LiDAR would be low cost. So this is something quite important. Of course, all the sensor has a potential to be applied for everything, right, including environmental monitoring. So that's why I do have some ongoing project. Okay. And of course, then the question is if we have too much, right, pollution, and then so that in this case, if we are going to have a lot more LG, plankton, grow, and then so that creates some big trouble by doing that. So this is something unfortunately once in a while, even in Hong Kong, we have this kind of problem. And so in general, I think we are still in this kind of very difficult situation in the near future. So that fresh water is not enough globally, especially in China. Also have Hong Kong also need to buy the water from Guangdong, right? So that's something
and then how can we overcome this kind of a shortage of fresh water is important for everyone, including you, and also the government. Okay, so that as I mentioned, so that if we have exponential increase about population, but the fresh water supply is under limit, so that at least I would say for sure in some day, and maybe we are going to have a big fight to fight for water, huh? We're going to have a lot of war, so that with this kind of thing, so that if the human population continue to grow like here, and this kind of the fresh water is remain this kind of here. So yeah, and then eventually probably people will go to fight. A different country will fight for water. What do you think?
This is job. So this is like your population. After you get industrialized, your population will drop. So it's just like not.
Depends on how you look at it. Some country, and maybe if your country, the population gradually decrease, but some, like India, right? Population continue to grow. Some country in Africa, I would say, still keep growing like crazy. It's more than that. In Hong Kong, I would say many young people, you will not get married and no kids, so that, but in other places in India, population of India, I would say is bigger than population of China. So that and also for those countries in Africa, I would say still continue to grow. So that that's why in near future maybe you can see the war. People, a different country region fight for water. That I would say that's very possible. Yeah, but that's why if we cannot continue to do the kind of engineering, water engineering, how to first is how you look at water conservation, and of course you have a new technology to low cost do the desalination. If you have new technology do the desalination, turn the seawater into fresh water, that is also possible, but that also need a lot of this kind of engineering thing, right? So this thing, at this moment there's a way, right? Desalination, that means you try to turn seawater into fresh water. Usually it's used what? And any idea about this? How we do this? Reverse osmosis. Some special kind of process. RO. This is one of the typical things, but in general, but it requires a lot of this kind of energy and resource. RO. This is one of very mature, but unfortunately, I think it's still quite expensive. Only for those countries that really suck a lot. They spend a lot, like Saudi Arabia, they build this kind of thing. Singapore, they all similar to Hong Kong, import fresh water from Malaysia, so that those country region they suffer a lot. They are forced to build this kind of like a RO plant to turn seawater into fresh water. We are lucky here in Hong Kong. We still able to buy water from Guangdong province, but anyway, so in the near future, I think if you can come with a new technology, low cost, right? Local and traditional, this kind of RO, I would say should be meaningful to minimize the potential war. You say once you don't have enough resource, so that why we have in the past many decades we have many like for example last century we have oil. Petroleum oil is a big strategic good, so that I can say in the Middle East why we have so many war. One reason I would say because people, every country fight for this kind of energy, right? Energy and then oil in the Middle East is one of a big trouble, right? I say. Anyway, so in the near future, I do believe potentially shortage of fresh water can create a war. There's no question, unfortunately.
But hopefully, if you are very good, engineer to invent some new technology to low cost, low cost, and to turn seawater into the fresh water, that is a important thing. So again, this is still expensive. Expensive, okay? Cost money. Okay, expensive thing. Okay, so that's why it's not common. Not every country region we're using this kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so again, here you see in general, I think we have pollution from both from human, right? The thing and the manufacturing plant and our building, everybody generates kind of wastewater, and also we have water pollution from nature. So this is a decay of dead plant, animal, sewage from animal sources, and marine sedimentation. So these are also some additional pollution. And of course, as I mentioned, water pollution from human, household, industry, commercial, farming, and all this can create some big trouble in the near future, and plus additional human population issue. Okay, so anyway, so that we overrun our time. So I don't. Do you have any question for today's lecture? Again, today we give you at least try to finish this kind of AI lecture with additional. I do give you this kind of bonus candy, this kind of free personal AI tutor. I do think it's has a good value for everybody. Free GPT-4. I don't use a VPN. Don't pay $20 per month. So that you're welcome to give it a try for your thing. And of course, next Monday I have to go with our. Next Monday, we're going to with our president just leave and to go to Hong Kong government for particularly kind of water monitoring project, so that our TA will deliver their talk. Okay, so that this is something. And of course, next Wednesday, our Dr. Yuan from Hong Kong CRC, got PhD from MIT, will also give this kind of introduction about this kind of Hong Kong CRC and provide some summer job opportunity for all of you. Okay, I think that's it for today's lecture. So that again, I do hope you try to digest something and then get help from both TA and our AI TA for this course. So again, so that of course I also ask TA to play some quiz for you to exercise, but still it's important. You need to don't only listen to our lecture or this thing. Once you have to digest and maybe ask the AI tutor to give you some exercise and then some dialogue, right? So but go through this kind of learning, ask a question, and then you can really pick up some of a key concept. Okay, I think that's it for today's lecture. Okay.